Hello, everybody. Welcome to your championship predictions for midweek round 14. Sam, we are in the grind of the 3-game week. Last time, another win for me, mate. 6-4, decided by a bob on Southampton nil, Preston 2, which went exactly how I said it would, even to the point of the breakaway second goal. That is 8-2 plus 3 draws in my favour. And Sam, we have 2 public apologies on a very goal-laden and a very busy weekend of Championship football. Good morning, mate.
Morning, yeah. Quite hard to predict, wasn't it? There was a lot of, I suppose, there wouldn't be heavy favourites, but you would have fancied Leicester at home. You'd have fancied Southampton at home to get something. Um, Help me out here. You wouldn't have expected Derby to probably go and win at Sheffield United at a canter. So, yeah, it was a difficult weekend to predict. I'm doing my best to mitigate why I'm getting battered, as you can hear. But yeah, I think Coventry, Wrexham as well, going on form, and you'd have fancied Coventry to get a point at least. So yeah, it was a bit of an underlining weekend of Championship madness.
I'm just loving all this BBC work that Sam's getting because one, it gets him to this big audience, and two, it's distracting him
Oh
away from
man,
the research on the
no,
predictions and allowing me to walk through the door
I
here.
think I've probably been playing a little bit with a handbrake on, going with form and what have you, and probably taking it for granted that the teams in form will continue to be consistent. And we know in the Championship, we know the cliche and it is the reality, And at the moment as well, when so many clubs haven't got their house in order yet, we spoke last week about Coventry taking advantage of Leicester, Southampton, Ipswich not having any consistency. Well, Ipswich are kind of finding that. But Coventry faltered on Friday. If they keep knocking out the points, it's going to be too much for certainly Leicester to make up the distance. It looks like Southampton are going to be in for a season of struggle, doesn't it?
We'll get Sam's take on a big news day at Southampton as well when we get to them. Right, let's get into this. As has been normal this season, 8 games on the Tuesday, 4 games on the Wednesday. Sam, you are up first. It's Birmingham
Mm.
versus Millwall. Maybe Birmingham clicked. Big 4-0 win for them over Pompey at the weekend. Millwall were a 96th minute equaliser from Oxford away from going 5 wins in a
Yeah.
row. They're in good form.
Yeah, this is really difficult because if you'd have asked me a week ago, I probably would have said Millwall would have been favourites here, maybe go and spoil and win by maybe a goal to nil up there. But I think you have to take into account what Birmingham did to Portsmouth. John Messino said, I think that it flattered his side to lose 4-0, which just shows
Wow.
you how superior Birmingham were. Few changes in the lineup, a few different things that Chris Davis has done. Set piece threat, very evident. 3 from dead
Yeah.
balls. Cochrane's left foot. So I'm going to have to give them something here, but it'd be a miss of me to discount Millwall. I'm going to take the draw here. I think I'll play 1-1.
Yeah, that's a scribble. That's where I was going. And we've done a normal theme on these middle rounds of the 3-game weeks in winter where we go a little bit lower scoring, don't we? So I like the draw for all the reasons you've said. Am I going to go 2-2 or 0-0? Well, I better go nil effing nil, hadn't I, in terms of uh, Birmingham maybe scare Millwall into being a bit more pragmatic, and I think they might be happy to come away with a point, so I will go nil effing nil. It's Bristol City versus Blackburn, Sam, and here comes the first public apology because we both had Leicester beating Blackburn. Really good win by Rovers, Sam. I did that as a watch long. Played it really well, didn't they?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think there was, a couple of gilt-edged opportunities that Leicester spurned.
Amazing save as well from the Blackburn
Yeah, it
keeper.
was his one save in the game. And when you
Was
when you
it?
factor that in, Solarchik had to make 4. I think that
Wow.
Blackburn played very well, and it wasn't a smash and grab. And Gunjodson with a couple of, he was involved in the build up for the first and finished the second expertly. So yeah, huge credit to them. Apologies. but I'm going to go for Bristol City here.
Ooh, whoa, 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 I'm up first.
Oh, are you?
I'm up first. I was just getting your take. We just must round out the public apology. So, yeah, apologies to Blackburn. We both had Leicester win in that. Absolutely superb performance by Blackburn. Sounds like Sam is going down the home win.
What gave you that impression?
The clanging spoiler alert you just gave me, Sam. I don't know. I feel like I have to give Blackburn something here after that performance. I think maybe they can replicate. So I'm going to do what you did on the last one and play the 1-1. Obviously, Bristol City got absolutely tonked at Stoke, didn't they? 5-1, which you might want to elaborate on if you're going for the bounce back. But so impressed with Blackburn, and on the basis of the public apology, I'll go 1-1.
Yeah, I think, did it flatter Stoke? Well, they were given a couple of goals, weren't they? They were certainly given one goal, but the football was so exciting, so fast-paced. Bristol City couldn't live with them. Some excellent goals. Obama, Manhoff, Chamadou all really at it at the weekend. So I think Bristol City just got blown away and they were very, very clinical. However, I think Bristol City are a decent side. They've had a great start to the season under a new manager. And I just think the travel for Blackburn again on the road and Bristol City, I think in the kind of state they're in, will be able to dust themselves down. I'll give them a goal, though. I wasn't going to, but I will do. 2-1 to Bristol City.
Charlton versus West Brom. Charlton, nice and steady, drew against Swansea at the weekend, but they're not losing. West Brom are fizzling out after a jolly good start. What do you think?
I think I don't really know where to go with this one. Charlton was at the Valley against Swansea. Am I right in saying? Yeah.
Swans finished strongly, Nathan Jones admitted.
Yeah. Well, I think it's low scoring because I think I've been consistent in, West Brom, I think, are a team of moments in an attacking sense rather than being really cohesive. I think, Charlton are just very difficult to beat and well-rounded. I don't think it'll be another 0-0. I'll go with Charlton here. And maybe West Brom to be the crisis club of the next 48 hours should they lose this one. I'll go with Charlton to win by a 0-0.
It's another scribble, Sam. We're 2 for 2 on the ones you've gone first on. So in which case, I like what you said about West Brom being based on individuals and moments and not really scoring many goals at all. But with a Mowat long ranger or a Johnston long ranger or a Price dribble or a Illing Jr. or whatever, they can score. So I will take the 1 goal margin of victory also for the home side. I'll give West Brom a goal and I'll go Charlton 2, West Brom 1. And you are right now. Will Still's out the way. Ryan Mason now drops in with Liam Manning and Marty Cifuentes as under pressure managers. Derby versus Hull. This one's tricky because they're both in really good form, aren't they? Derby are 3 for 3, 1-2 at home at the end of the last 3-game week, and they went to Sheffield United, got a good win, and Carlton Morris is all of a sudden looks like the August Carlton Morris. Didn't like September and October, did he? But Hull are really good, aren't they? And Gelhardt is banging in the goals for them. 4 wins out of 5 for Hull. So I think I've got to go for a draw in this one. It's your boy Eusty, so it'll be low scoring. I'll play another 1-1, Sam.
Yeah, I think Hull City's result and Norwich is going to get lost, isn't it? In all the toxicity at Carrow Road, but yeah, deserved enormous credit. Rode their luck in the first half, but yeah, some of those aforementioned players, Joseph, Gelhardt, have had really bright starts to the season. Gelhardt more of a goal threat, maybe. Joseph's endeavour has certainly caught my eye, and they're a decent side, Hull. I think they've had a really bright start. It's that depth and whether they can handle the course of a championship season, maybe without the depth of others. It's tough to go 4 wins in any level of football, but I'm going to go for Derby here. I just think at home. Against a Hull side who, again, performed heroically to get that win at Carrow Road. I just think that may have taken it out of them. So I'm going to go for Derby here. Feel-good factor, 2 goals to 0.
Morris again?
Maybe with 1.
There you go. Ipswich versus Watford. Ipswich back-to-back wins. Watford, great win over Middlesbrough, but Watford are terrible away from home.
Yeah, it's difficult to envisage the consistency being found so quickly for Watford because you just don't know what you're going to get. They were brilliant in that victory over Middlesbrough, like Stoke. Like looked like there was loads of pace and drive, like Vata and Barr as the two wide players. Simplified maybe the setup, strike pairing, both getting goals. Or did he get one? He got that one taken off him,
I
didn't
think
he?
he got it.
Yeah.
I think Kieran Guard gets both.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I watched it last night, the highlights
I
without.
can see you wincing as a striker
Well, it
there
was
that
that
you don't get that.
without knowing who'd scored. Do you know what I mean? So I've watched that goal, and it was only this morning when I'd looked at the small print that I saw that the centre forward had been given two rather than Dumbia for what was a peach of a strike. So I think they'll be really competitive here, but I can't. I could maybe see a 2-2 because I just think they're going to be quite good fun and concede and score. But I'll go for Ipswich, maybe 2-1.
This is ridiculous, mate. That is what I had down as well. Loser, as you know, is a big favourite of mine. Iran Kunda maybe off the bench. You mentioned the strikers scoring, Kerem Gard, Dumbia. So I do think there's a goal in it for Watford. Feels like Ipswich are finding their way, and they've got the luxury with the parachute payments and the big squad that you can build the pattern of play and the individual quality. But we did see the first signs at QPR of a couple of team goals, despite the fact Nunes banged in a couple of free kicks as well. I liked 2-1. So I'll play for a bonus point then. I'll go for the same margin of victory both teams score. I'll go 3-2 Ipswich and a bit of a thriller at Portman Road. Leicester versus Middlesbrough. Ooh. This might not be good for Marty Cifuentes because at the moment, Leicester are just relying on Ramsey, Fatawu and James just to pull a goal out of their backsides, aren't they? Middlesbrough, they lost 3-0 at Watford, but stats-wise, they just got killed in their own penalty box, didn't they? And it was reasonably even. I'd be interested in your take on Rob Edwards being linked with the Wolves job as well, whether that will disrupt in any way or whether he'll just maintain his focus. I'm going to go for doubling down on your word crisis there. I'll go for Borough to win it. Leicester 0, Middlesbrough 1, and that will be met with many, many boos at King Power.
Yeah, I don't know where I'd go with the 1-2-3 of horrendous full-time atmospheres, boos from the weekend, Leicester, Norwich and Southampton.
Norwich.
I think you just have to group them in together. Although there was something about the empty seats at St Mary's that just thought, wow, they have sunk to new depths. I don't know. I think it's difficult to suggest that there's not going to be some kind of reaction from Leicester, even if it's like really rolling the dice, like maybe making wholesale changes, because absolutely there's a bit of a lack of desire there at the moment, and there's such a disconnect between fans and the team more so than Cifuentes. I think he's being, obviously he's being criticised, but I don't think it's collectively across the board. I think a lot of fans are probably saying, do you know what, there is deeper problems than who's in charge, and he should be afforded a bit more time. I'm going to play a 1-1 here, and that's still probably a marginally better result for Borough, I think, but it might be enough just to appease the fans a little and give Cifuentes a bit of breathing space. 1-1.
Oxford versus Stoke.
I'm really tempted to play the 1-1 again. I'm sorry. I know Stoke scored 5 the other day, but I just think away from home it's been difficult for them to score. I think they're very good defensively. I think having had other players chip in at the weekend will be really positive for them when you think Sorba Thomas wasn't on the score sheet or assisting goals. So I think they're in a great place, but I think Oxford are very, very hard to beat. Very small margins in their games. Sorry, mate. It's not done a lot. I'm going a third 1-1. I promise you there won't be another 1-1, but I'm going to go for a midweek of stalemates.
Yeah, it's I get it, mate. I get it. I'm gonna back Stoke, so we're not scribbling on this one. It's the first one out of four. To be honest, we haven't agreed completely. I just feel that might be something, or could be something of a turning point for Stoke. Agree with your point about Thomas. So you've now got Manhoff and Bay and Thomas, and you've been on Mabama from the start, saying he looks like he can score goals. Maybe the hat trick will.
Yeah, it's just he hasn't scored since the second game of the season, has he? So yeah, for him, hopefully that'll kickstart him again. He should be more than capable of getting a dozen, 15 goals this year.
Exactly. Yeah. So that might break the seal. It feels like 1-0 either way, doesn't it? But I will just go with Stoke on the basis of confidence. And we saw what Mark Robbins did when he had good attackers at Coventry, and the stable set up with a couple of good attackers, and that took them all the way to penalties in the playoff final, didn't it? So I'll back Stoke to win this one 1-0. Coventry versus Sheffield United. Coventry obviously losing the undefeated record. Sheffield United have now lost 10 games, 5 by Chris Wilder and 5 by Ruben Sayers. And it's ridiculous, Sam, because I was watching Friday night and they're 2 up at Preston, and they're just collapsed since then, and 6 goals without reply, and a couple of unlucky ones, I'll give it, against Preston, but really silly one straight from their own kickoff, playing Carlton Morris straight through after a half-time.
With the song playing, yeah? With Annie's song playing.
Fair play to the guy. He quickly turned that off,
didn't he? Did very well.
Yeah, that would have been so silly if he'd gone through while the song was playing. Dear oh me. So I think I'm going to back Coventry to bounce back. I knew what Frank was going to say at the end of this, but I totally agreed with him. It's like, okay, it's 46 game season. You will lose. You're going away on a Friday night. You will lose. Still scored 2 goals as well, didn't they? And weren't at their best and very much in the game. You now have to stick another unbeaten streak on the board. And as we head towards round 23 and the halfway point around sort of Christmas time, can you do another 6-7 unbeaten? You're really good spot. So I'll go for Coventry. I like both teams to score in Coventry's games. Maybe O'Hare, Harmer. No, Harmer's injured, isn't he? O'Hare's been in good goal scoring form, so maybe there's a goal for Sheffield United. You've done well, actually. I'm going to nick one of yours with 3-1s on Coventry, haven't you? So I'll take a 3-1.
Yeah, I don't think Sheffield United will be as generous defensively as they were
hapless
at the weekend against Derby. So for that reason, I'm going to go for Coventry to make hard work of this, or Sheffield United to make it hard for them and react. I'm going to go for a 1-0 Coventry win.
It is Preston versus Swansea. Fair dues, Preston still in the top 6 at round 13. Back-to-back wins from them. Swansea, don't win many games, do they? Seem to do all right at Charlton, but they're down in 16th, Sam.
Yeah, I'm sorry for ardent viewers of the Championship, but there's not going to be many goals this midweek until... I'm going to give you some goals in a few minutes.
Okay.
I think Swansea have been really competitive away from home and a lot of low-scoring games. Preston, off the back of that win at Southampton, fancied them here. Again, solitary goal, 1-0 Preston.
You love a 1-0 at home to Preston. I don't mind that at all. I do feel maybe we could, with Dobbin in kind of good form, Frocchia came in and got a goal. Maybe we can be a bit more generous to Preston in terms of their attacking numbers. But forgot about Eder, actually, for Swansea, if you add him into all the praise we've given to Vipotnik as well. So I'm going to go 2-1, which would be a 3rd win in a row for Preston. I can't even fathom how high I'd have them going in the table. But yeah, be moving into a top 2 challenge, and we've both got them winning here against Swansea. Right, QPR versus Southampton. So this is going to be really, really difficult because Southampton have sacked their manager. So will they be in complete rudderless disarray, or if the players weren't really having Will Still, will they do that thing where they all of a sudden throw in a performance? I think they're more likely to be in disarray, Sam. I saw Saito and Poku back in as well in the second half. So I'm going to back QPR. 1-0 QPR. And the misery for Southampton to roll on a little bit before we get your predictions, Sam, with no check-in this round. Your reflections on a cup of tea, 13 games, unfortunately, for Will Still at Saints.
Yeah, I think reality is, and my sentiment's changed. My sentiment was he'll get longer time because of the regard he's been held in, the amount of clubs that have been interested in him. I think the reality is he'll probably get another good job if he wants to remain in English football. I think he will, because he's inherited a squad and a job that is in a bit of a mess at the moment. I think probably they haven't signed particularly well for this season. You always have that hangover with some players, and it's noticeable that the ownership model is getting a lot of flack as well. So I think he was probably the right appointment at the wrong time. I think he'll leave with his reputation still relatively intact, despite not being able to find a formula. So he deserves criticism because he's chopped and changed. We felt that he was going to, after the window closed, find a regular formation, which he hasn't done, chopped and changed in that regard. But the reality is they won 2 games. They won on the opening day, very fortunately, and they won at Sheffield United, who were in dire straits due to a virtuoso performance from Ross Stewart, who he no longer has available. So he's been unlucky because that could have turned it in his favour. He's missing Shea Charles at the weekend, who's probably one of their better players. So I think there has been mitigating circumstances, but I think ultimately the noise at full time the other day and the fact that they've only won 2 in 13, it's difficult to make a strong case for him remaining in charge. But on to this game, I see more fun and frolics, mate, than you. This is the night it's going to come good for QPR. Recollecting them beating Derby 4-0 maybe, when Derby were in a similar plight last year.
It was Eustie's first game.
Yeah, different circumstances, but obviously a team that had just changed or in the process of changing.
Oh, good point.
I'm going to go for QPR for it to come together. Kone's been really quiet last few games. I'm going to go for a 3-2 QPR win. Reason being, that was always fun in the 90s, watching QPR against Southampton. I'd put them in with Norwich and Coventry. Always goals in that game. 2 teams going at it.
Sheffield Wednesday versus Norwich, Sam, is 23rd versus 24th.
Now, I'm a little bit conflicted here because there's a part of me thinks that Norwich can't continue to play well in first halves and not score.
Where's my Mick McCarthy meme?
And miss chances galore and then capitulate in second halves. And you would think Sheffield Wednesday would be the perfect opponent, but has the news and the goings-on of the last week just alleviated something or galvanised Sheffield Wednesday? The result would suggest yes at the Hawthorns the other day. I don't know where to go here, so I'm just going to give you a few goals, and I'm going to go for a Sheffield Wednesday 2, Norwich 2 draw.
Well, I don't think I've backed Sheffield Wednesday to win all season. Someone can check me if you're a regular watcher of these shows. I don't think I have, and there's obvious reasons for that, and I would have been right on every single week. They've only won 1 game, haven't they? Wednesday. Norwich is just chaos. And I take your point about, making chances and missing chances in the first half. It almost kind of makes it worse that they're so flaking. They can't put it together. And then, you have the owner flying over last week. You have protests. The manager, bless him, looks like, the proverbial dead man walking. Surely all the Wednesday fans are going to be, we're not going to have many big moments this season. Can we get a win under the lights at Hillsborough? This is the one, isn't it? So I will back Wednesday. Norwich will get a goal because, as you say, they're making chances, but then they just collapse every game, don't they? So I'm going to go 2-1 Sheffield Wednesday, and a rare win at the bottom of the table. And I mean, it feels like I've repeated myself for about the last 3 games, predicting Norwich to lose and saying, surely the corner flag will be tweeted by the club admin, but they're hanging in there with Liam Manning. Finally, Portsmouth versus Wrexham. Sam, and it is our second public apology. We both had Coventry, league leaders, undefeated, to beat Wrexham. Great performance by Wrexham, especially Kiefer Moore and Josh Windass in the second half. But I think they're going to get a reaction from Pompey here, because as you mentioned, Mousinho was not best pleased and Pompey are not in good form. I think you're going to get a back to basics, go and slug it out at Fratton, get the win. Don't think they're going to get the win, but I'm going to play my second nil of the round in this one. Do you want to do the honours with the public apology to the Red Dragons?
Well, I think they'll be accepting of our apologies, given Coventry's form. Perfect hat-trick from Kiefer Moore. Sorry, I didn't watch this game live, but I'm sure someone at Sky or another has looked and told us the last time the same player assisted the same player for 3 goals in the...
I'm sure I remember Drogba doing it for someone for Chelsea.
Nothing jumps out to me, to be honest. I loved the second Kiefer Moore goal, the second header, because it was...
Wolfie's fast asleep.
It was,
there,
but it was he placed it. It was a pass with the head, which I really enjoyed. I think he saw that gap at the near post, and I think that just encapsulates how, if you get the right service to him, there's no one better really in the Championship. But Wrexham look like they've got some better footballers, I think, in the side this season as well. Windass is, he's not going to enjoy the ball being boomed over his head or slung in from throws. So naturally, they're going to play a little bit more football. So in that, they're going to have different ways to hurt teams, in contrast to maybe being a bit simplistic in recent times. Yeah, Pompey, I think just injuries, mate. I think, Murphy was on the bench, came on. If he's fit to start this one, I'd give them more of a chance of winning this game after 3 straight defeats. Bishop as well on the bench, left out, not scoring. Obviously, I think Segacic has been out as well. I think that's, when you're talking about a squad that's got probably the least, one of the squads with the least depth in the division, having your main players missing can have a huge impact. I normally back Pompey at home, but I've just been burnt by it too many times recently. I'm going to go for Wrexham to win here, narrowly, 2-1, both teams to score. I think Portsmouth will be okay, but this is just a really difficult period they've got to weather. Just going to go for Wrexham with possibly slightly extra more firepower at the moment.
Yeah, don't dislike it, Sam. That is our 12 for round 14. Get involved down there in the comments. You know how all the scores work. You will be able to see me. We've got double watch along this midweek. We'll be doing Coventry, Sheffield United, and then that game we've just done, Pompey versus Wrexham. And being a 3-game week, we won't do a championship check-in, so you'll hear from Sam Parkin again on Thursday, predicting round 15, and then we will take a breath. International break number 3. I'm sure we're going to have plenty to talk about, and the managerial merry-go-round is spinning, with Wolves and Southampton, possibly Norwich and another going during that break. So there'll be plenty to talk about. Thank you for watching. Get down there in the comments, and we'll see you on Thursday for more Championship predictions.